Have you ever woken up from a dream so vivid that, for just a moment, you still believed it was real? Then, slowly, you realize it was all in your head, a shimmering fantasy that never truly existed. That's what's happening right now for millions of people who pinned their hopes on grand promises of national renewal and economic greatness. They cheered at rallies and chanted slogans, convinced that a bold leader and his powerful allies would shake up the system in their favor. But as the dust settles, the harsh reality is setting in.
Make America great again is a bad thing? You took my tip away. I didn't mean to disrespect you. It's my livelihood. This is how I make my money. I think it's super disrespectful for you to treat me that way.
A county that overwhelmingly supported Donald Trump is about to lose its largest employer directly because of Donald Trump's policies. Now, this is Greene County, Tennessee, which is home of Artisan and who is the only supplier of penny blanks to the U.S. Mint. And because of Donald Trump's policy to eliminate the penny, they are on the verge of going out of business, which means everybody there will lose their job. Now, there's a trickle-down effect because the people that work there make the money to keep the other businesses in the county in operation. Now, they're begging Donald Trump, please, to reconsider this decision to eliminate the penny, but Donald Trump isn't listening.
We voted for Trump because he promised while he was campaigning like a million times that when he got into office, he was going to bring down prices, bring down grocery prices. The inflation has been high ever since COVID, and he promised he would bring that down, but it's obvious to me now that that was not true.
Some folks who aren't feeling Trump's optimism right now are American farmers, and they are stuck in the middle of all of this.
Frank, who did you vote for president?
Mr. Trump.
Right?
Trump.
Mr. Trump.
If the election were today, Frank, would you vote for Donald Trump?
No way. Couldn't happen.
The truth hit like a freight train. Instead of relief, everyday citizens faced mounting bills and stagnant wages.
You voted for President Trump. So now, in this moment, when you say you're in a free fall, what is your message to him?
So I'm off the Trump train. Where I'm going for now is I got to protect my business.
Island, a wheat farmer who says he's lost $400,000 since Trump took office.
I think there was a lot of people who voted for him that want to stay loyal to him, but it's going to get to the point where financially, if it's between supporting the president or losing your family farm.
A financial shock that left communities reeling. Small business owners, those who had placed their trust in the promise of a better tomorrows, suddenly saw their profit margins vanish, their dreams evaporate under the weight of new economic policies. Picture a local farmer who once envisioned a season of abundance, now battling the relentless pressure of rising costs and diminishing returns. It wasn't just a matter of numbers. It was the realization that the very system designed to uplift was instead driving a wedge into the heart of everyday life. And just when it seemed the story couldn't get any bleaker, the narrative took an unexpected twist.
Look at that most recent press conference in the Oval Office. Who was talking? Elon. Elon was running his mouth while his kid picked his nose beside the impotent commander-in-chief. And that is not good. That's not good for any one of us. America is being played by the world's richest man. Let's be clear. There's not a voter in America that doesn't want to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse in government. There's not a Democrat or Republican or independent out there that's just like, yeah, let's let the government waste all of our tax dollars because who cares? Everybody wants the government to be responsible with our money. But what Elon is doing with our agencies and departments has nothing to do with our money and everything to do with his money. If we really wanted to save money, the very first agency the newly minted Department of Government Efficiency should have audited would have been the Department of Defense, since it's the second largest category of government spending, and the Pentagon has failed its annual audit 7 years in a row. In fact, it hasn't passed an audit since the Department of Defense became required to have audits because they couldn't fully account for where their money was going. But did DOGE start there? No. DOGE started with USAID and the Consumer Financial Protection Board, and they're all up in Treasury and Transportation, and the EPA. They started with the agencies and departments that are specifically connected to Elon's personal wealth. Not yours, his.
While the average person was left grappling with unforeseen hardships, another group was quietly cashing in. Behind the scenes, powerful corporate figures and high-flying entrepreneurs found themselves in a position to benefit from the shifting landscape. The promises that had been heralded as a beacon of hope were repackaged as opportunities for those already at the top of the economic ladder. Instead of a fair distribution of prosperity, what emerged was a stark contrast between the struggles of the common man and the windfall enjoyed by the elite, it was as if the rules of the game had been rewritten, one that rewarded loyalty to the system at the expense of those it was meant to protect. And as the disparity widened, the truth became increasingly difficult to ignore.
And once again, we find people that supported Donald Trump that are feeling the effects of his policies, that are starting to feel the hurt, and I could not be happier for them. This is what they deserve. We're all going to be in the find out phase, but it does put a little bit of a smile on my face that the people who were warned, the people who should have been able to see who he was, are feeling it first.
So please stop thinking what Elon's doing has anything to do with you. Elon is not working for America. Elon is working for Elon. And if that means he has to do the bidding of China or Russia or Saudi Arabia, it doesn't matter. Elon's making sure that Elon is the world's first trillionaire, the untouchable king of the world. So Donald Trump may have made promises to MAGA and the American people, but Elon is just rolling him to take care of himself. Because between Elon's four main companies, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and X, Elon is under multiple investigations. He's in active lawsuits. He has multiple violations and fines levied on him, including OSHA violations and oversight violations and union violations, and court orders from multiple departments he and his boy wonders are now actively hacking. Use logic. Do you think that's for your benefit? So the American people can save money? No, that is for him, so he doesn't lose money. It was a USAID Inspector General who was investigating Starlink's potentially illegal behavior in Russia and Ukraine, just like it was the head of the FAA who was looking into what caused Elon's recent rocket explosion that severely impacted the flight routes of American commercial aircrafts. The National Labor Relations Board has been all over Elon because he treats his employees like shit. He claims to be this great environmental protector, but he is actively helping to shut down the Environmental Protection Agency so they can stop watching what he's doing. None of this is about the American people.
If there's one thing that intensifies the sting of broken promises, it's realizing you're on your own in facing the fallout. The worst part for many disillusioned voters wasn't just the economic hardship, but the realization that help wasn't coming. The administration, fixated on flashy headlines and big-ticket wins, did little to address the real needs of struggling communities. Meanwhile, divisions deepened between voters who remained fiercely loyal to the administration and those who felt utterly betrayed. Families turned against each other over Thanksgiving dinners. Lifelong friendships dissolved in heated arguments over whether the country was still on the right track or if it had careened off a cliff. Some folks begged for unity and compromise, while others demanded accountability, refusing to simply bury their frustrations under a forced smile. Social media became a battleground where supporters hurled insults at critics, who in turn fanned the flames by pointing out the ballooning national debt, stalled wages, and rising cost of living. But that wasn't the only fracture. Groups who felt sidelined for years by the political system were still waiting for even the smallest improvements to their day-to-day lives. Promises about affordable health care, better schools, and a simpler tax system all rang hollow. And in the background stood the looming figure of Elon Musk, apparently unbothered by the storms swirling around him, ever more entwined with policy decisions, ever more powerful behind the scenes.
So of all the F around and find out videos that have been going around, the one that shocks me the most is that one woman who is saying she's so upset with Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Republicans, and that's it. She's come to the conclusion and she's telling all of us there's no difference between left and right and we all need to band together. Now you guys got what you wanted and you have to suffer the consequences too. We are going to be suffering so much more over the next 4 years and maybe even beyond. And as far as I'm concerned, I will stay on my side where people are humane, where we care about all humans, regardless of their race, where we see everyone as equal. I'm going to stay on that side because you don't believe those things. You just don't want to get hurt anymore by what you voted for. There's the difference between the two. And when we're struggling, we have to come together to support each other through this. And I'll be supporting the people who did not vote for this. So don't ask for us to team together. Don't. Because tomorrow, if Trump were to flip a switch and all of a sudden just MAGA wasn't going to be affected anymore, like you thought it was going to be, you're going to bail anyway. Don't ask us to team up.
Conclusion. Whether you're a longtime believer who feels blindsided or a cautious skeptic who saw this unraveling from the start, one fact is clear. We're in the middle of one of the biggest find-out moments in modern political history. Some folks have finally opened their eyes, while others are doubling down in denial. Wherever you stand, the conversation is only just beginning. Are you ready to face the truth beneath the sales pitch, or will you accept the status quo and hope for the best? Share your thoughts down below, because this isn't just about one administration, one billionaire, or even one generation. It's about the direction of an entire nation, and whether everyday people will continue to let themselves be sidelined or rise to demand a fair and honest shot at the American dream. If you're hungry for more deep dives that rip away the smoke and mirrors, hit that subscribe button and tap the like icon. We're only scratching the surface of a story that's far from over, and believe me, you won't want to miss what comes next.